I wonder. A man's made by patience and the odds against him.
Or what kind of man would I be if I...
Sort of.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jazzbro Gonzo here. Another What's Next. Happy Tuesday to you all. Well, of course, the situation with Ukraine and Russia has taken the lead, and I mean right in front of news stories across the world, and rightly so. But of course, there are situations going on regarding that Ukraine-Russia situation, including one, high gas prices, that I will address in another video. But in this video, we're going to talk about entertainment. We're going to talk about Hollywood. And of course, there is a certain film out there right now that is making the rounds and of commenting that's gotten there's a little bit of controversy with it. The Power of the Dog, a Netflix film starring one Benedict Cumberbatch. Yes, of course, you all know him and love him as Doctor Strange. But in this movie, it is a cowboy-themed film set in the early 20th century. Now, there are situations going on in this film that some aren't too hot with, including one actor who made his thoughts very, very well known. This comes out of the New York Post. Sam Elliot rips gay themes in Power of Dog, calling it a piece of shit. Oh my. Oh my. Western film icon Sam Elliot is being spit roasted online after railing on Jane Campion's 12-time Oscar-nominated drama The Power of the Dog for including allusions to homosexuality and other alphabet themes. The 1883 actor dropped a shocking bombshell during a recent appearance on Mark Maron's What the F podcast, Entertainment Weekly reported. Quote, "You want to talk about a piece of shit?" The 77-year-old Tombstone sputtered when asked for his thoughts about the provocative Netflix film, which is a contender for Best Picture and Best Academy Awards. At this point, the Oscars don't really mean shit anymore, do they? For the uninitiated, the much praised The Power of the Dog stars Benedict Cumberbatch as a closet gay rancher in the 1925 Montana who's abusive towards his new sister and her son. Excuse me. Nonetheless, Elliott took umbrage with the film's characters, who he analogized to Chippendale's dancers who wear bow ties and not much else. That is what all these effing cowboys in this movie look like, the Oscar nominee ranted. They're all running around in chaps and no shirts. There's all these allusions to homosexuality throughout the effing movie. At that point, Maron informed Elliott that those themes are what the movie's about, whereupon the Roadhouse actor doubled down on his remarks. "Where's the Western in this Western?" Elliott asked. I mean, Cumberbatch never got out of his effing chaps. He had two pairs of chaps, a woolly pair and a leather pair, and every effing time he would walk around in somewhere, he was never on a horse. Maybe once he walked into an effing house, stormed up the effing stairs, go laid in his bed in his chaps, and played his banjo. It's like, what the F? Leave it to Sam Elliot not to hold anything back. The Big Lebowski narrator added that despite being a brilliant director, the New Zealand-born Campion was unfit to direct a flit set in Montana in the early 20th century. Oh my, here comes the anti-woman theme. I love her previous work, but what the F does this woman from down there, New Zealand, know about the American West? Elliott fumed, further criticizing her decision to shoot the Western in her home country. Yes, let's not shoot a Western, an American Western, in America. I just came from Texas, where I was hanging out with family, not men, but families. Elliott continued an attempt to bolster his case that she got the cowboy lifestyle completely wrong. Big, long, extended, multiple generation families made their living and their lives were all about being cowboys, the actor said. And boy, when I effing saw the movie, I thought, what the F? Where are we in the world today? Suffice to say that Elliott's comments did not sit well with the progressive cinemaphiles on social media. One tweeted, "Holy shit, do I like Sam Elliott a lot less now?" On another, "This is some barely even trying to hide his homophobic, misogynistic, xenophobic, whatever phobic shite," they added. Just in, Sam Elliot reinforces the whole message in the film that accidental endorsement of the power of the dog, which is what that cowboy culture hasn't changed one bit and is still rife with toxic masculinity and homophobia. I like Sam Elliot, but someone probably needs to remind him he's an actor from Sacramento who lives in Malibu, not an actual cowboy. We all know where he's from, dude, so you're not telling us anything we don't know. Now, we go from that to this. Bounding into comics. Benedict Cumberbatch wants your sons to be feminists, responds to Sam Elliott's criticism of the power of the dog. It was only a matter of time before the soy boys would come out of the woodwork. Doctor Strange actor Benedict Cumberbatch recently claimed he wants to turn your sons into feminists while also responding to Sam Elliott's criticism of the power of the dog. Elliott took issue with the film's allusions to homosexuality, its portrayal of cowboys, and the way it depicts the American myth. At the end, Cumberbatch responded to the criticism in a recent interview after being nominated for Best Lead Actor in his role of the power of the dog with the British Academy of Film and Television Arts. Responding to the question why it's important to portray the power in his portrayal of the power of the dog character Phil Burbank, 21st century, Cumberbatch responded, because there are many of him still in the world. He continued, and I think if I were to teach our son to be a feminist, it were to teach equality. If we were to understand what poisons the well in men, what creates toxic masculinity, we need to understand and look under the hood of characters like Phil Burbank to see what the struggle is and why that's there in the first place, because otherwise it will just keep on repeating itself. And while we're thankful for the movie into a space now where survivors are being heard and supported and protected, we got a way to go. That's still, don't get me wrong, but I think we've also had to look at the root cause of the behavior that these people have suffered. And he went on. Cumberbatch then specifically addressed Sam Elliot, quote, and this man, trying very hard not to say anything about a very odd reaction of what happened the other day on a radio podcast. I won't get into the details of its hit the news at home. It has here. But someone really took offense to it. I haven't heard it, so it's unfair for me to comment on in detail on it, but really took offense to the West being portrayed in this way. And beyond the reaction, it's sort of denial that anybody could have any other than a heteronormative existence because that's what they do for a living or where they were born. That there's a massive intolerance within the world towards homosexuality still, he claimed, towards acceptance of the other and acceptance of difference. And no more so, I guess, that the prism of conformity in the sense of what expected of a man in the sort of a Western archetype mold of masculinity. And so I think to deconstruct that through Phil, to look at that is not a history. It's not a history lesson. He continues. My thoughts. I'm going to condense this a little bit. Not my thoughts, but basically the video to get the gist out there so that you guys pretty much get this in context. I can understand 2 points. I can understand Sam Elliott's reaction to the film. One, I don't think when it comes to the director, Campion, that he is that he's a misogynist in regards to her directing. He made it very clear that he has seen previous work of hers and he's enjoyed it. But I can understand if he's watching, I saw the trailer and the themes are obvious. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts that the themes are obvious. But someone like Sam Elliot, who has done multiple movies regarding the West over his career, who has become an icon regards to it, I think he may have a little experience in these themes. I'm just saying. You know, he's done enough movies in regards to Westerns, and of course, he studied the Western Cowboy to know that the gay illusion, the Brokeback Mountain-esque themes that are in this movie are not what the Western Cowboy is all about. Excuse me, sorry about that. So I can see why he kind of went off the rails a little bit in regards to slamming the movie. Now, when it comes to Benedict Cumberbatch and his comment regarding raising his son to be a feminist, yeah, that's a problem, dude. That's a problem. One, there is no such thing as toxic masculinity. It's being a man, pretty much. It's being a man. That's who you are. It's inbred in you. It's in your DNA. It's in your genetics. That's who you are. A defender, a protector, a provider. That is what being a man is all about. Now, dude, if you want to raise your son to be a little soy boy, pearl clutching, panty bunching wimp, that's your prerogative. That's your right to. But don't chastise millions of men around the world who raise their sons to be men, to be responsible, to be accountable, to own up to their mistakes, to be lovers of women. That's stupid. That's ignorant. And you're just being a simple ass. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Excuse me. Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.